This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Shalom Aleichem. So we're up to the fifth way to effectuate chesed in the upper spheres, the method of Hachnasas Orchim. Now, the two guests that we've been discussing are Tiferes and Yisoid. Tiferes is a reference really to the six spheros under Bina. Chesed, Devorah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisoid. But Tiferes specifically is the combination of Chesed and Gevurah. And these two midos, Tiferes and Yisoid, they need a resting place, and that resting place is Malchus. Now, the Shechina is referred to as Malchus, and the Shechina is in a person's house. This is something Devorah explains in Parak Tes. And when the Shechina goes into Golos, Tiferes and Yisoid follow it, and they're called travelers. Like the Devorah said earlier, Ish noided mimekaimai is a reference to the Shechina. And when one is Machnas Orchim and brings wayfarers into their house, you are making a rectification in the Shamayim. You are bringing Tiferes and Yisoid, which are called travelers, into the house, which is the place of the Shechina. Now, we encounter a very interesting thing. Malchus, which is the seventh sphera, is specifically connected to the name of Hashem, Aleph Daled Nun Yud. And Tiferes, which is also a sphera, the third sphera, is the Shem Havaya. So Malchus, which is the bias, which is the makom of resting, is actually the Shem Adnus. So the Shem Adnus becomes a house for the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Because again, Tiferes is the guest, Malchus is the bias. So Tiferes, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei, stays in the house of Aleph Daled Nun Yud. So the Aleph Daled Nun Yud is, so to speak, the Heichal of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. The gematria of Heichal is 65, the same as Aleph Daled Nun Yud. This is something we once spoke about on a Purim Shiur, where the two Shemos of Hashem represent Torah Shebachsav and Torah Shebal Peh. Malchus is Aleph Daled Nun Yud, and Tiferes is Yud Kei Vav Kei. So one bias is Malchus. The other bias is Bina. Bina and Malchus are the two batim. Bina is a bias for Chachma, and Malchus is a bias for the other six spheres on top of it. So Bina is a bias for Chachma, and Bina is, so to speak, Chachma is the Baal of Bina. So Chachma is an Av and Bina is a name. Okay, so the Devorah says that Tiferes and Yisoid are travelers and the secret of Galus, and they're looking for their Aveda, which is a reference to the Shechina, and one accomplishes finding a makom for the Shechina if one travels out of their place to be oisek in Torah. This causes that these guests, Tiferes and Yisoid, are able to find, are oisek in the needs of Malchus. Then the Devorah says similarly, anyone who does yichud to Tiferes and Malchus, and that is accomplished by being koivei makom la Torah, so that also causes Tiferes to make some kind of lodging and home with Malchus. Now, the Tikkunim says that these guests, you need to prepare food, drink, and as escort. Now this is a very interesting thing. This is something we spoke about in the past, that when one gives food and drink to a guest, this is ma'orer in the upper worlds, an increase of bracha and kedusha, just like food and drink is moisef chayim to a person. The Magid told the Beis Yosef, all of creation needs food, even the Spheros need food, and the mazon of the Spheros are Torah and mitzvahs. In fact, the way God connects to the various oilamos, and the way they're arranged, and the way these oilamos function, is they require mazoin and hashpa, which is Torah and mitzvahs. So the Torah and mitzvahs are, so to speak, like the mazoin for the various spheres. Now, this, says the Talmud Divira, is some kind of fulfillment of the pasuk. Achila is similar to what it says, Basi legani, achalti yariyim divshi. I ate the forest with the honey. Now, what does this refer to? Rashi in Shiur says there is honey that grows on canes, so you suck out the honey and you throw away the cane. But says Rebbe Shem, I loved you so much that I ate the cane. I ate even something which is not right to be eaten. So too, when the Beis Hamikdash was erected, I accepted not only the nedavos of the Nesiim, I accepted their seirim lechatas, and now a soyer cannot be brought as a nedava. But the same way, when somebody loves something that is sweet, he eats not only the honey but the cane as well. So too God, when the Mishkan was erected, so he ate not only the karbanos that were allowed to be brought, he even consumed the karbanos that were not supposed to be brought. And then the Talmud Devorah says, Shehu shefa haroy lanhoga tachtoina hamispashatas mitzad hagvura hamasuka. This refers to the shefa that is used for the lower worlds, as it is a sweetened form of gevura. So he explains in the Hakdamos Sha'arim that dvash is actually representative of midas hagvura, and that's why honey is red. I guess something like red. Actually, in halacha, gold is very similar to red. Even in Hilchos Maros of Nida, gold is a similar color to red. So honey is considered red, and it's midas hagevura, midas hadin, but it's sweetened, which is representative of the sweetening of the dinim. Now, drinking is similar to the pasuk, I drank my wine with my milk, which is the inner bounty of the wine, which is guarded, and the milk, which is sweetened, to attach Tiferes to Malchus. And then the Talmud Devorah says a Whopper. This is represented by Yaakov and Rachel. Now the Shari Oira writes that in the times of Avram Avinu, the Shechina was called Sarah. In the times of Yitzchak, it was called Rivka. In the times of Yaakov, it was called Leah. It was called Rachel. And therefore, the union of Yaakov and Rachel is the union of Tiferes and Malchus, or Tiferes and Shechina, to draw Rachamim from Tiferes to Malchus. So Rachel is Malchus, and Yaakov and Rachel is the union of Tiferes and Shechina. And Gevura, which with attaching Gevura to either Netzach or Hoid, Netzach and Hoid are called the Shnei Reim, and as well as the Chesed of Levaya. Okay, and many rectifications are accomplished through inviting guests. So although much of this is beyond our comprehension, there are many tikkunim that occur by bringing a guest into one's house and feeding them, giving them to drink, as well as escorting them. And most notably, you are giving house to Tiferes and Yesoid and situating them in Malchus. And then the Talmud Devorah sort of ends off with another chidush, and that is, even though we believe that a mitzvah is achieved and accomplished by merely performing the mitzvah, regardless of what you say and regardless of what you think, nevertheless, the mitzvah is enhanced if you articulate the purpose and the intention of the mitzvah, and you utilize your machshava as well. In fact, the Nefesh HaChaim says that through Maisa, one is Mekayim the Oilamos, through Dibur, you give Koyach to the Oilamos, and through machshava, you add Kedusha to the Oilamos. So too, b'Maisa mitzvahs, even mitzvahs that don't have Dibur, by articulating with your mouth what you're accomplishing, you actually achieve much more. For example, Rav Abba, when he would sit at his Shabbos Suda, he would rejoice and he would say, Dahi Sudasa de Kochabricho. Why would he say that? Because even though he's accomplishing a great mitzvah by eating the Suda, the mitzvah is enhanced by articulating what the purpose of the mitzvah is. So this is the fifth way to effectuate chesed and shamayim, and the executive summary is that when one invites guests and he gives them to eat, to drink, and he escorts them, one is thereby giving lodging to Tiferes and Yesoid, which are in exile, and giving them lodging in Malchus. Okay? So, whether we understand this or not, but this is what we're doing, and tomorrow, Be'ezus Hashem, we will do the sixth manner of effectuating chesed. Tomorrow will be the last Torah Divira Shiur of the week. There will not be a Torah Divira Shiur on Thursday. We will resume on Monday. Be'ezus Hashem, tomorrow morning and tomorrow night, there will be a Wednesday Shiur, a bit abridged. Okay, Rabbi Isai? And on that note, anyone wants... Yeah, 1 minute. If anybody wants, they could join us tonight at 9:15 for Yavamis, Daf Yudalid Amud Beis. Okay?
So what about nowadays where we can't invite guests?
I mean, what is that doing to the upper world?
Yeah, well, how's that affecting the screen on it? We can't invite guests anymore because of COVID.
So it's so therefore the Rebbe Shalom is giving us a great opportunity that since you can't invite guests, you could want to invite guests. And if you're not able to do a mitzvah and you want to, chishev lasos mitzvah venenas, if you think to do a mitzvah and there are extenuating circumstances, it's considered as if you did the mitzvah. Okay, Marv Rabbi Isai, have a great day. Kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.